Salt, such a simple thing, yet so essential to our daily lives. We often overlook its significance, but it holds a depth we rarely consider. We sprinkle it on our food, add it to recipes without a second thought, enhancing flavors and preserving our meals. But did you know that this humble mineral carries profound spiritual significance? It has been revered throughout history not just for its culinary uses, but for its symbolic meanings. The Bible speaks of salt often and not just in passing. It is mentioned in various contexts, each time adding a layer of meaning to our understanding. It uses salt to convey powerful truths about our faith, our relationship with God, and our interactions with the world. Salt is a symbol of purity, preservation, and covenant. There's a reason Jesus called us the salt of the earth. He was highlighting our role in preserving goodness and adding flavor to the world around us. In the following sections, we'll uncover the hidden depths of this simple element. We'll delve into its historical context and spiritual symbolism. We'll explore what salt meant in biblical times, how it was used in daily life, and its importance in religious rituals. Its symbolic power in Scripture is vast, representing everything from wisdom to loyalty, and even the eternal covenant between God and His people, and how its lessons can still flavor our lives today. By understanding the deeper meanings of salt, we can appreciate its role in our spiritual journey and everyday existence. In the ancient world, salt was precious. It was so valuable that it was often used as currency, traded along vast routes that connected distant civilizations. Salt was a symbol of wealth and power, and its significance permeated every aspect of life. It wasn't just a seasoning, it was a necessity. Salt was essential for survival, used not only to enhance the flavor of food, but also to maintain health. It played a crucial role in the diet of ancient peoples, providing essential minerals and preserving their food supplies. Salt preserved food, preventing spoilage in a time before refrigeration. It allowed communities to store food for long periods, ensuring they had sustenance during times of scarcity. This preservation method was a cornerstone of ancient food security. It made meals palatable, transforming blandness into something enjoyable. The addition of salt could turn a simple, unremarkable dish into a delightful experience, bringing out the natural flavors and making food more enjoyable to eat. Jesus, knowing the importance of salt, used it to illustrate a powerful point. He understood that salt was more than just a physical substance, it was a metaphor for influence and impact. He told his followers, "You are the salt of the earth." This statement was profound, suggesting that just as salt is essential for life, so too are we essential for communities and the world. Just as salt preserved and enhanced food, we are called to preserve and enhance the world around us. Our actions, like salt, should prevent moral and spiritual decay and bring out the best in others. We are to be agents of God's goodness, pushing back against decay and bringing out the best in everything we touch. By living out our faith, we can illuminate the world, just as salt enhances the flavor of food and preserves it for future use. Our influence can be a beacon of hope and goodness in a world that desperately needs it. Salt wasn't just practical, it played a crucial role in ancient covenants. These sacred agreements, often sealed with salt, signified an unbreakable bond. When God made covenants with Abraham and his descendants, salt was involved, symbolizing an enduring promise. This connection between salt and covenant reminds us of God's faithfulness. He is a covenant-keeping God, and His promises, like salt, never lose their flavor. Just as salt preserves, His love sustains us, holding us together even in life's storms. Think about a meal without salt. Bland, right? Life without flavor is like food without salt, it lacks zest. But sprinkle in a pinch of salt, and suddenly the flavors come alive. God has given us gifts, talents, and passions to flavor the world. He's placed within us a unique blend of experiences and perspectives. When we share these authentically, we bring life and vibrancy to our communities. Now, you know I love a good story, and this one involves a whole lot of salt. A few years back, I was baking a cake for my wife, Denham. I was feeling confident, following the recipe to a T. But when I pulled the cake out of the oven, something wasn't right. It had a strange, salty aftertaste. Turns out I had mistaken the sugar for salt. I had used 2 cups of salt instead of sugar. Let's just say Denlin got a good laugh out of that one. Section 6. Wisdom in the grains. Salt, a simple yet profound element, has been a part of human history for centuries. It has been used not only to flavor food, but also as a symbol of wisdom and preservation. My salty mishap with the cake taught me a valuable lesson. Sometimes, less is more. This small kitchen disaster reminded me that balance is key in all aspects of life. Whether it's in cooking, relationships, or work, moderation often leads to the best outcomes. Just like too much salt can ruin a dish, too much of anything can throw off our lives. Overindulgence, whether in food, material possessions, or even time spent on certain activities, can lead to imbalance and dissatisfaction. It's essential to find harmony and know when to stop. The Bible talks about salt in the context of wisdom. Throughout history, salt has been a valuable commodity, often used as currency and a means of trade. Its significance goes beyond the physical. It represents purity, preservation, and wisdom. Colossians chapter 4, verse 6 says, "Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer each person." This verse emphasizes the importance of thoughtful and considerate communication. Just as we season our food carefully, we should season our words with wisdom, speaking with grace and discernment. In our daily interactions, let us strive to be mindful of our words, ensuring they uplift and encourage those around us. By doing so, we can foster understanding and build stronger connections with others. Section 7. The savor of salt. Have you ever noticed how salt loses its saltiness if it gets contaminated? Jesus uses this imagery to remind us that we, as Christians, must retain our distinctiveness. We are called to be different, set apart by our love, compassion, and our commitment to God. Just as salt adds flavor, we are meant to bring God's flavor to the world. We are called to be light in the darkness, hope in despair, and love in a world desperately needing it. Section 8. Salt for the soul. The next time you reach for the salt shaker, let it be a reminder of these profound truths. Let it remind you of your calling to be a positive influence, to preserve what is good, and to enhance the lives of those around you. Remember, you are the salt of the earth. You have the power to make a difference, to bring healing, and to spread God's love. Section 9. Facing the Soul Shaker. I'd love to hear from you. How has this message resonated with you? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's continue this conversation. Let's pass the soul shaker of God's love and encouragement to one another. Don't forget to subscribe and share this message with your friends and family. Let's spread these timeless truths and build a community of faith together.